Hello and welcome to the She is Tech podcast. This is a space for growth, inspiration, and change. Here we talk to women in tech about things that matter: career and life, leadership and motherhood, breaking barriers, and making breakthroughs. This podcast is brought to you by Intellias. My name is Julia Hamburg, and today we are joined by Sheeja Shaju, a leadership coach, best-selling author, and CEO of I Create. With more than 25 years of experience and a deep focus on conscious leadership, Sheeja helps people lead with purpose and presence. She's worked with global brands like Hershey's and Globant, and today she's here to share how our stories can shape our careers and help us break the barriers that hold us back. Without further ado, let's dive into our conversation with Sheeja. Sheeja, welcome to the She is Tech podcast. It's a great pleasure for us to have you here. I can't wait to hear all of your stories, as today we're talking about how our stories shape our career path. But before we jump in, I would like to hear a bit more about you, about your background. So would you mind introducing yourself to our listeners in your own words? Who
Yeah,
is Sheeja today, both in your work and beyond it?
beautiful. First of all, Julia, thank you for having me on your podcast. It's indeed a pleasure and an honor to be here. I am Sheeja Shaju, as you know. I'm an executive leadership coach and a facilitator and CEO at my company called I Create. And I have one more company called the School of Leadership for Young Leaders. So I have overall like about 25 years of work experience and have clocked more than 2,000 hours of training in various industries like manufacturing, tech, healthcare, and the likes, even banking. Companies like Global, BMC Software, Pirog Mining, Hershey's, these are some of my clients. And I've had the privilege of working with leaders not only in India but globally, like US, UK, Singapore, Philippines, Malaysia, and the likes. Now, what sets my work apart is that I integrate ontological coaching, which focuses on who you are being with somatic practices. That is, I help leaders reconnect with with their own body and the body's intelligence and how they are perceiving themselves and how they show up in this world. Right. I am also a published author. I'm a co-author in two leadership bestsellers called one is Become and the other is Growing Group into Teams. I've also been published on some of the magazines and newspapers in India, like Indian Management Magazine, then there's Business Standard, there's Times of India, and the likes. Now, beyond all this, I run an NGO also, which is called Project Azadi, which is for underprivileged women to help them provide them with basic English education. This is usually online that we hold. And yes, but I myself, as a person, I'm someone who's always learning, whether it's through books, through conversations, through my 18-year-old son or my 8-year-old dog. Yeah, constant learning. Yes. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you. I have so many questions already to you to clarify regarding all of your experience and all that you mentioned. Let's start from leadership coaching. You mentioned that you worked with leaders in tech, in manufacturing, healthcare, etc. Have you noticed some common challenges that they face? If you notice some, how do you help them with your coaching? Maybe how do you adjust your coaching practices to help them cope with those common challenges?
Yeah, absolutely. So I see some universal challenges across industries. Some of them are like leaders are grappling specifically nowadays with the AI and all the technology changing so rapidly. Like every 3 months, literally something new is coming. 3 months is also very long, is what I'm saying right now. It's so much is there. So the overwhelm that they are dealing with in trying to adapt to these changes, constant changes, and the pressure to deliver the results, while at the same time managing their personal lives, their own mindset, the deadlines, everything, right? That's something that I've seen common across industries. So whether it's like a CTO who is managing an innovation cycle at his organization, in a tech industry, or at a manufacturing plant, someone who's working with a leader who's working with ground teams, or in the healthcare, if I have to say, like handling burnout and high emotional loads. These all things are there in all of these industries. So there's like a shared need for clarity and emotional intelligence and ability to inspire others. Yeah. Now, coming to the second part of your question, how do I help with these different industries, right? So, in tech, usually, leaders wrestle with so many different, especially deadlines and the constant technological changes, right? So, the something known as the imposter syndrome is something so easily that comes up with them, and communication breakdowns is I see a lot that happens, which wastes a lot of time, energy, intelligence is also gets wasted in all of these things. So I help through that, like, things like lateral thinking or bringing in frameworks of strategic storytelling. All of these things become very important there, right? When it comes to like manufacturing, they are usually dealing with hierarchical systems, and challenges are more on resistance to change, and the connection is not that. There's more of control than connection. So I work with them on that. I try to bring in the presence that's required for them to really understand who this person is on the shop floor, and what is he or she dealing with on the shop floor while I'm sitting in my cabin and I'm bringing all these changes. I need to listen and really understand through what they are not even articulating, and I need to give them space. So I work on helping leaders to work on that, right? Then in healthcare, I've seen leaders a lot more into taking care of everyone else rather than themselves. Now, they need not be only doctors. It just becomes like an innate emotion, culture that is there in the healthcare industry, specifically on the leadership side. So my work helps them. I help in helping them build boundaries and putting their own needs first, understanding their own stuff, and to lead with courage and care. Yeah, that's across the industries what I see.
Great, thank you. It seems like, leaders from different walks of life, from different fields, they need to exchange, their worries or their strong sides with each other, and then it's going to be in a balance.
So much
Seems
more,
for
right?
me like that.
Absolutely. It's never one size fits all, right? So it's always a mix and match of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Let's talk about locations because you also mentioned that you work with people from different parts of our planet, from India, from Europe, from the United States, etc., etc. Have you noticed in here in this situation differences in how women specifically lead in these places? And again, what can we learn from each other? Because I'm pretty sure that women leadership in different locations might be a bit different.
Oh, significant difference. I mean, while there are a lot of similarities, yet there are a lot of differences. And it comes because of many things. Like one of them is the culture, right? So, cultural context significantly influence their leadership styles. In India, women specifically, often emphasize on collaborative and community-oriented approaches. Whereas Europe, I've seen women leaders more tend to value work-life integration and consensus thinking, consensus building, working along with everybody else. While in the US, assertiveness and innovation, these are very highly priced, right? So different parts of the globe, if I have to just take these three majorly, if I have to talk about, right? What can we learn each other? A lot, right? Indian women can learn from their US counterparts, like to claim their voice. Now, this is not generalistic, these are also contextual, right? And subjective to people. But on an average, what I've seen, to claim their voice more publicly, to celebrate their own wins, to set their own boundaries. These Indian women can learn from the US counterparts, and not to wait to be invited to the table, but to claim their space at the table. That's another thing, right? Then European women, they show us what I have seen, right? The power of actually leading with empathy without sacrificing influence. That's something that I have seen quite a lot in my coaching. Yeah. So they model that balance very beautifully. And American women can benefit from that. They can benefit from Indian women's relational depth also, where influence is built not just by achievement, but on trust and presence. That's there, right? So women across these cultures, when they come together, as you were saying, right, and you come together and share not just their success stories, but their doubts, their breakthroughs, their tools, right? And you're providing a brilliant platform right now for all of them to hear all of these things, right? It gives space to like a global sisterhood for leadership, right? And just learning from each other, knowing that, hey, I'm not alone in this, and yet there is so much more just by because of my culture. This gives me an innate understanding of how I can and shape my identity that can help someone else.
Thank you. And I really agree about this sisterhood thing. And we will talk about it a bit further. But I would like to now move to our main topic of this episode because it's all about how our stories shape our careers. So, Shija, please tell us, why do you think the stories we carry matter so much, especially in our personal and professional growth?
Yeah. So if I have to go zoom out and look at it, it's life is all about results. Right now we are talking for some result. Even if you are sitting in front of a TV, it's for some result. Meetings are for result, emails are for everything is about a result, right? So if life is about results, and where do they start from? They start from how you see the world. And how you see the world is nothing but your personal, your internal narratives, the stories that you're telling yourself about what you see. Yeah. So it's like you are constantly creating yourself. You're creating your own identity. You're creating others. I am like this. I am lazy. I am aggressive. I am a happy person. Oh, I am so sad. I'm such a victim. I mean, why does everything happen to me? She is like that. He is like that. These are our internal narratives, and what they do, because that's the way we see the world. What do? They shape our actions. Based on how I see, my actions get shaped, and my actions then give me the results. This is known as a OAR model: observer, action, results. I observe, I take action based on this observer, and I get the results. Now, if results is what we are living for, then can you see how important our stories are? Because they are the one causing they are the foundation for these results, right? And for our career, if I have to connect, how does it go, right? If I am depending on the story that I have on myself, I'm forming my identity. I'm shaping my identity based on these stories. I'm shaping my public identity, how you see me, based on what my stories are about my own identity, right? And my body is, that's another somatic thing. It starts shaping according to the story that I have, right? One example I'll give you of a leader. She had a story that she's not good looking, all right? So, and she had this right from her childhood. So, what she did was she used to actually, in certain circumstances, when she used to be with people, she used to want to crouch and be invisible. Not necessarily crouch like this, but put her head down, her shoulders down, and try to be invisible because she did not want others to see her ugliness, as she called herself, right? Now that started shaping her body, and she started developing a hunch. With that, she wanted to always be small. Whenever even if she got a job, she wouldn't be outspoken. She had less confidence, self-esteem was low. Can you see how the stories shape your body, shape your public identity and your own identity? And now through coaching, then we started releasing all of that. First started with understanding what is stopping her and shaping her like this in her mind and her body. Then we started working around it, and that's when she found her freedom. Did I make sense? Did you connect with what I said?
Yeah,
It's pretty
yeah.
deep
Thank you
work.
for this story. And actually, I have this insight. It's something on the surface, but I didn't think about it. That okay, we're talking about stories, about storytelling when we say story, but each story starts from a thought,
Absolutely.
and our thoughts is what we are actually, how we behave, how we think, how we live. So, thank you for this great story and deep insight
Yeah.
that we all get.
Nice.
Okay, and now going back to this sisterhood topic you started in the previous question. I would like you to talk a bit more about the comparison and about comparing yourself with others. Because, as for I see, a lot of women and in tech as well struggle with this feeling like their journey isn't impressive enough or too unconventional, etc. And for me, it's about comparison, comparing yourself with others and with other women as well. So, what piece of advice would you give? How can we start embracing our past instead of comparing them with the past of others?
Yeah, beautiful question, actually. I love this question most out of all your questions, because it just speaks to my heart about how what I work with when I work with women in tech. And 90% of the women I coach and coach today are in tech, right? So it's such a common experience, like especially like women in tech, right, where there is like an unspoken benchmark that they have, that what is legit or an impressive career. It's unspoken, right? That's it's in their heads, right? Um, Now the truth is there is no single path to leadership or impact, and the first step to embracing your own path is to stop outsourcing your worth to a checklist that someone else has written, right? Going by something someone else has done, right? And one powerful way to shift that is by, something that we touched upon earlier about the stories, reframing your internal narratives, right? I often invite women I coach to write down three defining moments in their lives, right? Not just the shiny ones, but the messy ones and the pivotal ones. Then we explore, what did I learn? What strength did I tap into? Who did I become in that moment? Right? So this practice, what it does, it helps reveal to you the richness of your journey isn't just how linear it is, but it is in how much you have actually grown through it. The other thing that I do is, what I tell people is, mind your language. This is what I say, right, to the women specifically. Women tend to downplay their work a lot. So using phrases like, I just, it was nothing, I just did it. Or I just fell into that role, I just got it by chance, right? They are actually downplaying their own skills, which is how, you see, as I said, right, this is an internal narrative. Am I good enough? This is not good. I'm not good enough. And then the words that come out is, I just got it. I just did it. It is not too much. Yeah. But then others, through that, you're shaping your public identity. Now, others are looking at you. People are thinking about you, right? So what happens is, instead I invite them to say, hey, I navigated through a tough pivot, yeah, and I grew through it, I loved it, or I did make a bold transition and it helped, right? So what happens is, language shapes identity, and it's so important to be aware, what are you saying? The name of my company is called I Create. The name is because you are every time creating from your words that are coming out of your mouth, right? And that's shaping your life. Did I make sense? Was that okay for you?
Nice. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Great advice. And you've also mentioned, those lists, others lists we are trying to fit ourselves in. And I thought that, okay, for not fitting into others' lists, you need to have your own list. So create your own list of future success you would like to reach, build it on your own beliefs and wishes, and then follow this list. Don't look at lists of others because they have different life, they have different goals, they have different skills, etc. We are all different, so we need to have, I think, different lists of our
Absolutely.
goals.
Beautiful.
You've also already mentioned a few internal narratives that some of us pretty familiar with, I'm pretty sure. So, from your experience, what other internal narratives we have? Maybe you see them often, the narratives that are holding women back. So, how we can start to rewrite them?
Yeah. So this is about similar things that we spoke about, actually, right? The one of the main thing that I see across the cultures, it's not across the borders, it's not just in India, is this imposter syndrome of, am I good enough? Do I really belong here? Right? So, so what happens, it is not only about those words, because it runs deeper and it becomes a part of how women see themselves, not just what they believe. They believe that they are that, right? That they are not good enough. And that is a very dangerous zone. So when I work with women who carry this story, I don't just challenge the thought, I actually help them see how it has shaped their identity, how they have overcompensated for it, or hesitated, or stayed silent, or turned away from opportunities, right? So I ask them, what has this story cost you? This is something that the listeners can, you can ask, right? What has this story cost me? What choices have I made or avoided because of it? Like one of my coaches had this story. I'm shy. Yeah, this is another thing that women have. I am shy, so I won't do this. I am shy, so I won't do that. So and this was in front of, we were training, and well, like about 30 leaders, and she was one of them. And when we asked her, like, what is that story that has stopped you? She did not say that it has stopped me. She said, I'm shy. That's about it. And then when we started talking, what it has cost you, and what choices have you made or avoided, she became emotional in that moment. Initially, she was getting angry that she felt she was being challenged in front of her team. But then when it actually hit her, she almost teared up. And she said, because I had this story in college when I was going to go in front of in this audience, and the curtains, I was a part of the play and the curtains moved, I just froze and everybody started booing me. That's when I felt that I am shy. So I answered the question, did you feel that you're already shy, or you created it in that moment? That's when she realized she's actually created that story. What it cost her, it was the next thing. She lost out on business opportunities, on speaking assignments, on taking up new responsibilities, because that story was so big, because that's what who she was, is what she was thinking, I am shy. That led to her imposter syndrome. I'm not good enough. I shouldn't do this. It's all byproduct, one story after another. So what we do is, so I do first is try to help them see what has it cost them, very gently. Next, we go into looking at the exceptions. When they were not this story, what happened there, right? And then she started seeing the accomplishments and how good she was in many ways, and how she has, then the rewriting begins of this story. If I was that, then I am that right now also, but I'm choosing something else because it is convenient to tell that I'm shy, so I will not do this, right? So convenience, taking action, sometimes we make stories because of our convenience, because you don't want to take responsibility, and that becomes an excuse for non-performance or underperformance. Yeah. So we work on all of that. So the leaders come face to face with these things. Yeah. That's when, so because I work ontologically and somatically, I also explore how this narrative lives in their body. So many women, they actually carry this not good enoughness in their posture, like slouched shoulders, or a held breath, or an apologetic tone. This is something that I've seen in leaders. Oh, I'm sorry, but can you do this? I'm sorry, but can I talk? A lot. Sometimes it's good enough, right? It's important, but they do a lot. And then we start to shift all of that slowly, slowly. And then we connect to what truly matters to them. What is it that they want in their life? What do they care for? And they need to then they to start seeing that they're caught in this loop of self-doubt. And they slowly they stop fighting all of these things, and they get connected with their values and what they care about. And slowly, slowly, they start, their potential starts coming out, and then the assertiveness and looking at things differently, standing up for themselves, showing up for themselves, right? Getting their space on the table, not demanding, not fighting for it, but at least telling people, hey, I belong here, kind of stuff. It automatically, because they've started shaping their stories, their body also starts getting shaped. And that's how it just blends into a new persona. Yeah, that's where it is.
Nice. Thank you. You've already started to give us some examples and hints on your coaching practices. And you mentioned that your coaching approach includes somatics and ontological work. I have a slight understanding as for now. During our conversation, I already have a slight understanding of what does it mean, but can you please explain it wider, better, maybe in more details? What is the practices and how they help your coachee?
Yes. So, ontological coaching, it focuses on the being aspect of it, right? Who you are being as a human being, as an individual, as the different roles that you have, as a mother, as a friend, as a client, as a student, whoever you are. Who are you being? It focuses on that. It helps you become aware of your beliefs, your own emotions, the language that you live in. It's called the BEL model. All right. That's a little, sorry, we'll take that separately. BEL model. This right now, I was just said the
Mhm.
beliefs, emotions, and language, right? And coming back to that, the BEL model is about the body, emotions, and language. The body is this body that we are talking about, the soma. Soma is a Greek word. It means a body in its wholeness, right? Then there's the emotions, who you are. That's another part of you, and the language. When I say language, I don't mean English or French. I'm meaning the effectiveness, the conversations that you're having. Now, all of these three, when they go hand in hand and align with each other, you have a more richer experience of life. Yeah, that's what ontology is built about, where we are talking about the being. And when I was talking about the beliefs, this is about how the language shapes your beliefs and your emotions also start working. So when I am working with my coaches, I first try to understand, help them see their blindnesses in all of these areas, their body, emotions, and language, because that leads to self awareness. When you become self aware, only it's like when you become aware of something, then only you have a choice to do something about it. So you become aware of, hey, this is how I felt in that moment. That doesn't mean it's wrong, but that did not serve me. So now there is something else I can do because I need to go towards the result that I want. So through that, once you become aware, then I help you with tools to help you navigate through those changes and then take appropriate actions to reach the results that you want in life. Yeah. So in that, that's where the body is, the ontology is more about the beliefs, the emotions, language part of it, and somatics is that body part of it, which is helps you see the intelligence your body has. Through that, how you are able to, your leadership gets shaped. Yeah. So what I do is by integrating all of these, sorry, by integrating both of these together, the clients can achieve a like a holistic understanding of themselves, leading to more authentic self-expression and alignment of their values and with their actions.
Thank you for explanation, first of all. And I see that now we're at the point where we can talk about stories, how to build your story using these practices. How do you help your coachee to build their stories this way?
Yeah. So how do they build their stories is basically you're already building stories, Julia. You're already having your story. So you are a human being with so many years of experience. You as in everybody, whomever I talk to, right? You have all of these years of experience already with you. You have this intelligence and wisdom, so the story is already getting built, right? What is important is to differentiate between, hey, I already have a story. Is this helping me? Because this story is giving me access to a certain kind of action, and that action is giving me some result. OAR. Remember the model that I spoke to you about, observer, action, results. So once I become aware of, hey, this result is not what I want, so then the action that I took that led to the results is something that is not okay. And where did the actions come from? They came from these stories. The important point also to remember is the story is mine. It's your story. You created the story. So if you created the story, then you can create another story, right? But in the thing, the how when we live our life, we get attached to the story and we think that is the truth. We forget we made it up, right? So my work is in helping you to see, hey, you made this up, and keep reminding you, hey, you made this up. If you could do this, you have the power to do this. Another story. And when you make another story, you it then get access to different actions. And those different actions give you different results. Right? I'll tell you an example of a tech leader who was there banking. He was from banking. And so let me talk about a woman leader, in fact. So, yeah, so this lady, she comes up and she's at a very high scale. She's at a big position. Obviously, I usually coach executives, senior executives, and she's at a very big position. And but her story is, I am not good enough, right? I am here, but I don't feel I'm right being here. Do I have the right to say all of these things? Now, when she comes up with that, what also happened because of that story, she started losing engagement in her work and she started losing interest in her work. You see, because she's constantly questioning herself, am I good enough? Am I good enough? So she started, it became very exhausting then to try to keep up to her, as I said right earlier, there is an unsaid standard that we keep, that this is how a perfect career should look like. My success should look like that. And it became so exhausting for her that she started losing interest, engagement, productivity dropped, and she started seeing a downfall. That's when we met, right? She started a coaching relationship with me. Then we started looking at her stories, which is shaping her identity. And she realized, oh my God, I've been doing that right from so many years. Despite doing that, she reached here. So imagine if she didn't have those stories, where would she have reached, right? So my work is in helping you become aware of your blindnesses, in helping you see those stories that are ruling your life, in unlearning, in changing those stories, and then tools that I give you to help you implement them more successfully and get to the results that you want.
Thank you. Thank you for this story. And I actually also understood, maybe some meaning behind the naming I create. I understood that the power is in I create. The power is that I can create. No one else. No one else is creating my reality, my career, my personal path. It's I who do this. It's me who do this.
Perfect.
So it's in the name. It's in the name.
You got it.
Okay, Sheja, thank you. And let's move forward. You've mentioned that usually you work with the senior executives, but also you worked with many of the young leaders. Let's talk about them. What skills and qualities you see in them now, and which skills do you think are most important for the next generation of women in tech to grow and succeed, for future female leaders?
Yeah, yeah. Um, the the women now, the young leaders now are pretty intelligent, very intelligent. They want to go much ahead of, you know, a few years earlier. If you had to ask me, I would say the pace is a little slow. But now women want to go much ahead of where they are actually. So they want growth at a faster rate, and they try to work and get as much as possible to. And they're hardworking also. Not all, again, I'm not saying generalistic. I'm just saying, yes, it depends. Contextual also it is, right? But there are a few foundational skills that I believe it's absolutely essential, that is important for everyone to have, right? Especially women in tech, which is so fast changing, right? In every, literally, as we're talking, it's changing, right? And if they survival is somebody is not in their thing right now. Everyone wants to thrive, right? These young leaders specifically. And when you want to thrive, three skills I would definitely say is important. One is adaptability, very important. The tech landscapes, as we're talking, right, is changing lightning speed, right? New tools are coming up, like, and things are shifting, like, just evolving business models. Every now and then it's happening. What you knew 3 months ago may not be relevant right now. 6 months ago, not at all relevant right now, right? So there's a requirement to learn, unlearn, and blend. It's about staying open and curious. That's one. Second one, emotional intelligence, right? As technology increases, the young leaders need to remember that finally we are all human beings. Yeah, we are not all robots. Yes, we are the ones who are driving a lot of stuff out here. So emotional intelligence is not just being aware of your emotions, but being able to name them and to regulate them and use them wisely. Extremely important. Tech is not only about hard skills. It's about how you deal with conflicts. It's about people. It's about collaborating with people, with teams, reading the emotion of a room, right? Building trust, leading with empathy, all of these things are extremely important. So women leaders definitely need to pick up on and keep honing that skills. The third one, and I'll come to my what I wanted to say right now a little later, but the third point is, which is this is not in any order of priority, all of them are important. Third one, effective communication. Very, very, very important, right? You can have the best idea in the room, but if you can't articulate it well, it's no use. You might have the best of intentions, but if you're not connecting with your team, it's no use. So, intentions are not enough for me to tell you that you are a successful team leader or a successful leader at all, right? If intention is just kept in the head, it's no use. It has to be articulated. There has to be a connection between people. And that is about effective communication, because in effective communication is where actual influence begins. It's how you advocate for yourself, for your team, you inspire your team, you shape, it's like a narrative you start creating about everybody and they create about you. So that's extremely important. Finally, as I was telling earlier, right, the invisible thread in all of these three together is self awareness. You become self aware, understand what makes you feel alive, what you love, what you think is important. It's and take care of the other also, and understand what, by the way you're sitting, the way you're talking, the way your silence is also speaking. That awareness is very, very important. Like, for example, if I have to connect with somatics and ontology in a room, I have seen, so I sit as observers in meetings and feedbacks and reviews and appraisals and all. And I've seen leaders sitting, cross hands. I'm going to explain how it is, right? They'll cross their hands, arms like this, and their neck will be strained a little bit. Their eyes will be rigid, and they look sternly with their jaws tight. They look and tell their counterpart or their colleague, give me feedback about me. Now, this body, the other person is going to give you feedback what you want to hear. You're not going to get a feedback that will help you, right? And then they usually come up with, hey, see, my team loves me. They tell all good things about me. But you did not give them space to talk because they don't trust. They don't trust that it will be used wisely. Yeah. So the work is to manage human beings, and those human beings will stick to you then if you have that connection of with them and with yourself. Yeah, that's where it is.
Yeah, great. And you're 100% right. The body is such an important aspect of leadership as well, but any communication. And I think that we pay not that much attention to it. We usually think what we say about the results, about achieving something, but not how we feel, how we behave, and how we build connections. And this is important to remember about. Okay, thank you, Sheeja. And to wrap up our conversation, I would ask you maybe even for like a small, brief coaching advice.
Sure.
What's one small but powerful thing all of us, some one of us, any of us can do this week, for example, to take ownership of their story and start breaking their own barriers? So, like, what a small step to do to start create it by your own.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, one of the powerful things that you can do this week is to just pause and notice the story you're currently living inside of, especially in areas when you feel stuck, you feel small or not enough. Ask yourself this question: what am I believing about myself in this moment? Yeah. And then go on one step more deeper, right? When I believe this, how do I feel in this body? What do I stop doing? What does it cost me? Right? This very powerful question will start revealing to you so much that you had probably kept aside about yourself. And that it'll help you to change your, it'll also reveal something about your posture, about your breath, your tone, and how it shapes your choices. It'll help you, right? After this, so you said one, but I'm giving you some bit more. You can ask,
Nice, thank you.
right? Gently ask yourself. All of this is through gentleness, no judgment, right? Women specifically, they go a lot into judgment. I am like this only. Oh my God, how much I try, but I still am like this. But don't go into that judgment. Just bring in compassion and gently ask yourself, when have I lived without this story? Yeah. So maybe it was a time when you felt bold, you were creative, at ease, or fully yourself. Who are you being in that moment? Right? It'll just help you connect with that, that you are that also. You are not this story. You are that also. Right? And that serves you more than this story. So it'll help you pivot towards that and then start changing your actions, your body, and the way you get their results. That's where it is.
Great, thank you. I'm so, thrilled actually. Even felt a bit emotional after your words. It's such a powerful understanding to really ask yourself about your, false story and your true story, to find the second one, and to, as you said, to see that it serves you better. So you should follow your true story. Thank you, Sheeja, for such a great insights. I'm really inspired, and I hope that all of our listeners got the same amount of inspiration from our conversation. And the main thing, an inspiration to recreate their stories if they need to be recreated. Because, yeah, some stories are great enough, but still some stories can be improved. I'm pretty much sure about that. So thank you for this conversation and for your advice and the stories you shared. This was an amazing experience. Thank you so
Welcome.
much.
Welcome is just totally an honor and a pleasure to be in conversation with you. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the She is Tag podcast. We hope this conversation inspired you. Your stories matter, your path matters, and your voice has the power to create change. If something Sheeja shared today resonates with you, take a moment to reflect on your own journey and maybe even share it with someone. Our mission is to unite and inspire women in tech. Be part of our community by following the She is Tech LinkedIn page. Just follow the link in the episode description. You can also share this episode to help us amplify women's voices. And don't forget to subscribe. We've got more interesting conversations coming. Until next time, take care and keep striving for change.